want to succeed, be willing to do things that others won't and don't. Your trainers aren't training in your gym, you're probably not doing something right. Yeah. If they work with you and train somewhere else, maybe your product's not smack bang on where you want to be.
I don't believe it's luck that you keep attracting quality people. So there must be some things that you guys are doing particularly well to A, attract and B, retain talent.
It's like a little bit murky and it's not clear what a casual staff member's actually meant to do in their shift time. They're not underperforming, you haven't told them. It's your fault.
I've spoken to a lot of franchisors. They've been on this show, and a lot of the time there's not that level of opportunity for that creativity or autonomy.
Best ideas for how our business is going to evolve over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years is coming from the people that are actually in the gym, operating them, not from someone sitting in a boardroom designing workouts.
Getting the right people in to begin with, and people who are buying into what you're trying to do and see the world the way that you see it on both fronts is just got to get that right.
Make a product people want to use, right? Product king, so the workout it's got to be good and people have to go home and talk about it.
How do you scale that standard amongst so many sites and amongst so many people?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think
Welcome to a special episode of Profit Made Simple. Today, I have two guests, Jordan and Daniel from CONDITN. Welcome, boys.
Thanks for having us, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very excited to have you both. Now, there are going to be listeners out there that don't know what CONDITN is, but it's rapidly growing. You're just about up to 20 sites, we were saying behind the scenes. So well done on the growth. But for those that don't know what CONDITN is, can you share a little about it?
Yeah, for sure. Strength and training is what we do, but group training, we try and train with program with purpose and deliver an experience that has members coming back and enjoying themselves. I think that's often forgotten too much. It needs to be, people need to enjoy it. So we try and ensure with everything we do that's front of mind.
And how do you do that? How do you ensure that people enjoy it?
Yeah, look, it's about right from, and this sounds very old school, but right from when they walk through the door, knowing their names, saying hello, greeting them, making sure the sessions from day to day are changing. It's not just come in and do one thing, it's mixing it up for people, but making sure that it's still very purposeful in what we're delivering as well at the same time, which is the balance you need to find.
Make a product people want to use, right?
Yeah.
Product king, so the workout's got to be good. You got to like it and people have to go home and talk about it.
We train in sessions probably 5 days a week currently. And, a really good sign is all our trainers, most of our trainers are training in sessions too. So if we're, we split the room in half is the way we do our sessions, where we have a conditioning and a lifting session going at the same time.
Okay.
So our sort of mindset was, if you look at these sessions on a day-to-day basis and you're like, I want to do this one, but I don't want to miss out on that one as well, then I think we're pretty happy that that's hitting the money when we feel like that.
That's an interesting concept. So I can come in as a member and I can go, which one do I want to do? Which one do I feel like today, or which one matches my schedule for
Ideally, you book in before you come, but yes. Yeah. So you have the choice.
It gives me a great deal of flexibility. You got 2 concurrent sessions, and a word that you've said, I think 3 times already between the two of you is purpose. So everything is purposeful. It sounds like the programming is purposeful. The consumer experience is purposeful in the way that it's been designed. Tell me a little bit more about the programming and how you've designed that experience.
Yeah, I think that's probably the ethos of why we built the brand. We felt there was a bit of a gap where people were doing things just for the sake of them. So making changes and reinventing the wheel when it probably didn't need to be reinvented. We sort of stepped back and tried to simplify everything and try and really live by that statement that if we're going to do something, what's the reason behind why we're doing it? Communicate that between ourselves, to our staff, then try and communicate that to the members. So simple things like even having in the screen on every workout that we ever write, there's a focus and a purpose sort of written there for a member to know, should be communicated by the coach too. So you know what you're there, why you're there, what you're doing, right? So
it's a highly competitive space, right? We know you guys have been in the industry a long time, like myself. We've seen a lot of different competitors, a lot of different franchises jump in, a lot of fantastic independents. How do you stand out in such a crowded market?
Yeah, it's a good question. Again, I think focusing on what we're delivering and the experience when people come through the doors and making sure it's consistent is, and we'll probably say this word 50 times today as well, but community. There's so many different little things you can say. You've got a great community, but do you? What are you actually doing to harness that community and make sure it is special so that when people do come, they don't ever want to leave? And of course, people move and there's all those kind of things, right? But it's just got to be a positive experience from the first minute ongoing, I think.
Yeah, so if you start in the studio, like Dan said, and create an environment that people want to be a part of, then that resonates and spreads, makes more people notice you, but also being in good spots, in good sites, in good areas that actually fit the demographic of people that you're looking to attract makes a really big difference too, right? Most people don't walk past 3 great gyms to go to another great gym. So, being really convenient for people, offering something that's unique, or you can communicate how you are unique is really important too, and knowing who you're actually trying to have in your studio. So,
yeah, being smart about where you position the gyms is critical as well, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk a little about that. You've got 20 locations now, or you're just about to open your 20th location. How do you determine where you're going to open the next location?
Well, number 20 is about 50 metres from my house, so that's going to be good.
So nice and convenient.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll be training a bit more.
Yeah.
I raced one of the trainers in High Rocks the other week. Maybe if I had a gym more convenient, I'd be beating him. He beat me. So
we'll be opening one in South Coogee soon by the sound of it.
Yeah, coming soon.
Yeah.
I guess we've been doing this for quite a while now. So when you're and operating studio fitness businesses and seeing there's obviously some data that you can look at for the type of people that you're looking.
Are you looking at demographic data primarily on that?
Sometimes, yeah. Obviously that's where you start, and there's lots of great tools now with AI that you can use to research that. But then also like sitting at the coffee shop near where you're looking at a site and watching the people that walk past and getting that actual feel is really important too. So even if we're opening with a franchise partner in an area we're not so familiar with, it's really important that we're out at site with them, considering the design of the site, but also spending time in that community to realize, like, is this actually the right spot that we would want to open a site and bring it to? So sort of a set of criteria that we look at, rent and economics need to work too, but also that sort of identifying which street's the right street for you to be in that area, and is a retail spot you're looking for. A quasi-retail spot's obviously a little bit more ideal because the rent's usually a little bit lower. Or one of our most successful sites, actually, you enter via lift and you're on level 3, but you have a great view across Coogee Beach from up on level 3 in Randwick, which most gyms and studios probably wouldn't even consider as a location.
I was there this morning. It was a great session. The sky was blue and it was good up there. But yeah, no, exactly right. And even a lot of those times where we're looking at those different areas where we're not so familiar with, you are going to be partnering with that local person from that area and that community. So we can more help in those scenarios with things like the size of the site, correct? Is it in the sort of right street? Does it have parking? What's the rental mark? All those kind of things. Can we help them a bit with the lease? Those kind of things we can help people get started with as well.
Is there competition in the area already, or is it to come? What are you actually going to be up for over the next 3-5 years?
How closely are you paying attention to the competition, and how much does that influence whether you take a spot or not?
Yeah, arguments both ways. Like if the competition's already there and you go in, you're the new shiny toy that, might be disrupting that market. But if they're not there, will they be there? I guess there's some areas that you look at that are really hard to find property. That can actually be really a good thing, because if you can find a property and make it work, and there's barriers like council approval can be harder to get, it's actually a really good thing. Yeah, just assessing each for its own merits. Try and worry about your own lane and the type of clients that you're going to attract, but you probably don't want to open a gym next door to another gym. It's not really good for anyone. So,
and you spoke about size of space. What's the perfect size that a condition operates from?
Well, 200 square meter rectangle, but I don't think one of our sites is a 200 square meter rectangle.
They don't exist. No. So you're looking anywhere. What's the smallest site?
Yeah, 160.
Okay.
Probably through to 350.
Okay. So that's the variance.
Yeah.
And you want to try get it as open as possible.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah. Rigs down on one half of the room for the strength session.
We have different layouts in each site. So whether it's a pod of 4 rigs together for a capacity of 16 on that side of the room, or whether it's in a line, a nice neat row, there's depending on the space, what's going to get you the best capacity, but also the best feel and flow for the studio as well. Not one of them are exactly the same, to be honest.
I think when we designed the concept, that was something we really wanted to take into consideration, because a lot of franchise or models that scale are built on a floor plate that has to work exactly, and people spend a lot of money to make it work like that, and where certain exercises are delivered, or where you can do your squats or whatever are in a certain spot in the room, which doesn't quite work if there's a pillar. So we kind of have a number of different layouts that work, and each one of our studios is actually a little bit different. Yeah. So I tried to design
a little bit more flexibility.
Definitely.
So how the programming actually works allows us to maybe go to sites that we probably couldn't if we were always having to find that 200 square meter rectangle with bathrooms external that had no pillars, right?
Yeah. The site's ticking every box, and but it just doesn't tick a couple of little boxes, like a couple of pillars, or has a little dog leg. Should you then not take that site? No, I think we're more than happy to be flexible and figure out
we can make this concept work.
Yeah.
And You said visibility is very important. So you're not setting up in industrial spaces most of the time. It's retail or quasi-retail, ground floor.
Depends on location still though. Like, it can still work. But yeah, the retail or like a level 1 or like a lower ground or mezzanine, those ones that are still in good areas, but maybe not on the main street, maybe it's the side street. That sort of tends to be where your rental market gets to an acceptable level.
Yeah. So down in Melbourne, we have a site in Brunswick East that is next to East Village, which is a really trendy apartment development with high-end retail bars, restaurants, but we actually have a studio in the factory space adjacent, connected to Brunswick East. So perfect.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Excellent. You talked about community, Dan, you mentioned it before, and I would say we work with a lot of clients between both businesses, close to 200 studios and gyms, and a lot of them would say, we do community really well, right? It's a big buzz. They say it's one of their USPs, but what does community mean to Condition, and what does doing it well look like?
Consistent. So whether you're running events, whether you're having trivia nights, whether you're doing your run events, whether you're doing a special in-studio session, whether you're doing all those little things, but it just needs to be consistent, I think, is the most important thing for community. If you just do one thing every 12 months, it's a nice space to come into. Yeah, people are happy coming doing their training, but I think you've got to do a bit more than that.
Yeah, like starts with the in-studio experience and the workouts, how we design them, often for people to work in pairs. So if you're doing a strength session, today's lift session, it's a whole lot more fun if Dan and I go and do it together. And he's spotting me and tracking my weight and making sure I'm having a good time. That creates us to connect.
Even if I have to take heaps of the weights off every time. And
it is bench day. But
that's half the workout.
It is.
You shuffling
my weights.
Yeah.
But if we didn't know each other, it would be very weird if we didn't get to know each other in that session. So
sort of
that side of things.
Yeah.
And then obviously, building a team of staff that connect and like each other and want to be part of it too. And then, then there's building a framework of things that you can do for the members. So it's always like the things that happen in the studio are really important, and then layering those things on top, like Dan mentioned, like events and trivia night and all those things. It's not, I think, starting with creating an environment that is inclusive and welcomes everyone. We don't exclude people if they're late. If you have got an injury or you don't want to do burpees today, don't do them. That's sort of our mantra has always been, come, work your hardest. Everyone's there for a different reason, and like creating that type of community that then promoting people to connect. It's different per area though. A city site is a lot harder to get people to stick around and chat.
Of course.
At the end of the workout than at round week where you can't get rid of people. But yeah, every site's got its own challenges. So.
And do you have a set number of events that you're saying, hey, this is what you guys need to run as a studio and deliver? You need to deliver one event per month. One of them has got to be social. One of them has got to be competitive. One of them has got to be inter-studio. Is it that kind of orchestrated, or is there a little bit of freedom and autonomy for the manager or the franchisee to run what they want to run?
We try and run an event every couple of months from a HQ point of view, but no, it's definitely more freedom from a manager and franchisee to what's suitable for their studio.
I think the programming works in cycles. So they're like natural points where people will do things. And we have sort of created a way for some ideas for people to do, but the things work a whole lot better if they're driven by the key person in the studio. If we said, let everyone run a trivia night,
it's not going to work.
No one comes. But if there's 5 different options that someone should do over the next 8 weeks and 2 of the gyms do a trivia night, there's a lot more successful like that, right?
Yeah.
So.
You said the programming runs in cycles. So you run in 8-week blocks, is it?
Yeah, well, technically 9 week. We have a week 0, which is a bit of an open week. We do that every phase as well. But yes, the programming for that phase will be over an 8-week block. With week 1 through to 5 where we build, week 6 we have a peak week, and week 7 we deload, week 8 we test. So that's the sort of structure throughout the year.
Yeah, over closer to Christmas and times where it's harder to stick to training, we do fun little things like a Phase X for 3 weeks with all hybrid workouts, just things that people keep people engaged.
Snakes and ladders, deck of cards, all fun workouts over the 3-week thing over
but
Christmas.
Usually sort of land on that as a sweet spot, not too long that you lose interest over a sort of 3 months cycle, but not too short so you can actually see improvement and change. So,
and you're testing every 8 weeks, so people are always seeing progress.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
As long as they're doing the sessions.
Yeah. You see a lot of people not quite test the conditioning. The conditioning test is one that gets skipped a little bit. But,
okay. People avoid those days.
It's pretty tough.
What is the conditioning test?
It's a 1K ski, a 1K row and a 2K bike. every 7 minutes with your score being total time. So if I do the ski first and it takes me 3.5 minutes, I'll have 3.5 minutes rest. I'll start on the 7 minutes. Then I'll go again for the row and then same thing for the bike. So, and then your total score.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Oh, it's by the time you're finishing the third
spicy.
one, it's show's over.
Condition record is 9:47, I think.
Oh,
30,
yeah.
beat us. We both
Is
just
he
under 10.
one of your franchisees?
No, trainer.
Yeah.
Trainer?
Yeah, beast.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, mate.
Yeah, taller than me. That's my excuse.
I did see you blitz them in the running though. So you orchestrated a conditioning test in Centennial Park, did you?
Yeah.
Work it in your favour.
Well, most of the events we design, if it's designed more by me, it's something that I can probably try and win. If it's on my chest.
You're doing the heavy lift.
Mate, the running event, I was the timer. So
Yeah, he carries me a lot. We love little different things. We did that was about a year ago, a time trial event at Centennial Park, but we just had a track night 2 weeks ago where we did 1K efforts on a cycle with a group of people. We did a big night run in the city sort of middle of last year in the dark, which was really cool, partnered with the Running Man movie. So we love doing like fun things that are cool for people to get out and about and do something that's challenging for them. A lot of people that aren't into running will come to that. We're not really a running gym though, right? So why would you run a running event? But it's more about giving people a reason to come and challenge themselves and get better.
I love the cycles that you have and how you've really curated that, particularly around the different parts of the year. You mentioned week 0. It's like a welcome week, did you say?
yeah, a bit of an open week.
Open
Gives us
week?
a chance to communicate and try and get an influx of new people in to start fresh for the new phase. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the marketing itself. As a consumer, I've got so many choices, right? I'm just spoiled for choice. There's so many amazing boutiques. There's so many great big gyms. Why would I choose Condition over everyone else?
I think if you're looking for something that's time efficient, purposeful, who come through and get the most out of your training if you can only give up 2 times a week for 50 minutes or 3 times a week, you can come in, have a really good time, but also work hard and get results, right? That's probably why most people pick us, and then all those other things are the reasons that they stay. So, we'd love to say that our programming is revolutionary, but everyone can do a back squat. I think trying to get people to stick to that programming is one thing we think we're really good at. So we do things that keep people engaged and change timings and reps and the way we load people over a cycle because it's exciting and different, and it feels completely different rowing for 200 meters versus rowing for 20 calories. So things like that, make it way more interesting. Plus, if you're racing someone next to you. But we run a great studio that people feel welcome and have a really good time. So if you can come through the door and have things like week 0 where there's less barriers than ever to come and try us, we really like things like that. So it's free week.
It's a free week you run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's very time efficient. Your sessions are 50 minutes.
Yeah.
You're always programming for progress. So we see that on a regular basis. It sounds like one of the key values that you have is welcoming. You've said that. It kind of feels like the cheers bar. Everyone knows your name.
Yeah. And George touched on it earlier. Like we've got a rule in the gyms where it's no tops off. Like as in, that's just the rule so that people, don't feel intimidated. And that's, if you've got an injury or you don't want to do a particular exercise for whatever reason,
you can accommodate around
it, right? So it's, yes, we're training hard. Yes, we're, progressing. We're doing all these great things, but at the same time, you still got to have fun. You still got to want to come back and feel welcome in that space. So otherwise it just, it won't last.
Yeah. And they're like decisions we sort of had to make on purpose when we started the brand. Like, if someone isn't standing up perfectly in their burpee, but they've snuck out of work and they're having a terrible day, is that the worst thing? Like you might be able to coach them through that at some time, but as a coach and as a community, trying to make sure our staff know that like maybe it's more important that person's there moving, and then over time they can improve to certain things. So that's where we've sort of landed, of who we want to be.
It sounds like you're very clear on the standards, right? You guys are using the same language. It's the same themes. You've got 20 sites and then you've got a number of team members in each site. So how do you scale that standard amongst so many sites and amongst so many people?
We've very lucky. I think we've got a fantastic group of managers and franchisees now too, but getting the right people in to begin with and people who are buying into what you're trying to do and see the world the way that you see it on both fronts is just, you got to get that right. And you don't always get it right and you make mistakes and you got to fix it. But that's crucial at the start for sure.
Yeah. Creating something that people want to be a part of. So that makes it a whole lot easier to attract good people. So Dan mentioned it, but if your trainers aren't training in your gym, you're probably not doing something right.
Yeah.
If they work with you and train somewhere else, maybe your product's not smack bang on where you want to be. And I think that's a really important sort of thing for us that we try to hero. And then, it's just having a fun environment that you can create to retain those people. And then I think making things simple. So, it can become really complicated, but, we talked about it before, what the focus of the session is, what the purpose that you're there for. Here's how the framework's going to work for the next 8-9 weeks, communicating that really clearly over and over again, having things like access to an online portal. We can watch videos about delivering the session today prior to going in. You can read about the session. You can ask questions directly to us. There's no question that's, too silly to ask if you don't know what an exercise is. We sort of trying to create a culture where it feels like that. And, those structures and systems are what allow you to do that on a little bit more scale, but also probably having that key person in the studio that cares and is holding people to those standards. It's all well and good to have all the tech and systems, but that they're actually utilised and enforced is really up to the person that you entrust to be the leader of that site. So
you said you've been lucky because you've attracted these great people. I don't believe it's luck that you keep attracting quality people. So there must be some things that you guys are doing particularly well to A, attract and B, retain talent. And Jordan, you've touched on a few of those, making sure that it's a really fun atmosphere, making sure that people are being educated and supported. What are some of the other things that you're doing? Because it doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah, I think making it really clear what's expected of your staff. So it's one thing we've talked about a fair bit. If it's like a little bit murky and it's not clear what a casual staff member is actually meant to do in their shift time, they're probably not doing what they're not underperforming. You haven't told them. It's your fault. So creating a really clear onboarding pathway, allowing that to be the expectations to be really clear and sent to people up front. But then getting people to buy into what you're trying to create and create progressions, probably a really key one too, obviously with programming the strength, but also for everyone that works for us, allowing a pathway, whether they want or not, to learn and progress. And one of those full circle moments has happened over the last few months where someone who's worked for us for a little while now has now come on as a co-owner of one of the sites that we JV together on, and seeing him step up and, really buy into all that's awesome. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about the career path. So there are opportunities within the company itself to grow. It sounds like you can go from coaching to management to ownership.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
A lot better than advertising on Seek.
Yeah. And they're people that know and love the brand, and that's you can't get a better endorsement than that, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe communicating those pathways we've been sort of focusing on recently too. It's a lot better to promote internally and move someone through the ranks that's sort of learnt your culture and how things are done.
They're already invested in the values, aren't they? They already live and breathe what you stand for.
Yeah, because there's always going to be turnover with your staff. We've got a couple of managers moving on at the moment. One of them, the gaps is going to be filled by an external hire and one internal. So, being open to both options, it's just got to really be dealt with it on its merits, and allowing that sort of path. We actually just recently launched a Cert 3 condition branded 2 in partnership with One Training, a good friend of ours, which is great. So we've got this vision that people as a member can learn how to coach and not get knowledge with us over a period of time, and then come on board and do their experience with us. And, you never know, maybe that person one day wants to own a studio with you too.
So not just a progression from working for us, one from being a member to working to ownership. Yeah, all the community.
Yeah, really, really smart on that side. One of the things that is interesting about the structure of Condition is that you actually have different ownership types. So you've got some company-owned stores, you've got some franchisees, and then you mentioned it just before, Jay, you've got JVs as well. How do you determine whether it's going to be a company-owned location, JV, or franchisee?
Yeah, it comes down to location, the person, capital, what we can bring to the table as well. They're probably the 4 key things. There's obviously a bit more detail than that, but they're the 4 key things that you look at for each individual opportunity.
And has that person, when you sort of work through, are they fit to be a partner with Condition? Do they have any gaps that we can fill to allow them to maybe do that sooner than they probably could, whether that's financial knowledge, sales, marketing, bookkeeping, all those things. So and we would only really have done joint ventures where we feel like we can actually add value and bring things to the table too.
Where there's a complementary set of skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I asked from a member perspective, why would I choose Condition? There's a lot of choices. As a potential investor or franchisee, why would I choose Condition as opposed to any of the other franchise groups?
I think the ability to have some flexibility in your studio and the way it's run and the way it's delivered and the way it's set up is, we talked about it, briefly at the start, but I think that's really important because you have the chance to make, yes, you're a franchisor and you're part of Condition and you're part of this bigger thing, but you can also make something your own. You can, whether it's you want to run a creche in your studio or not, great, might suit your area, might not. Whether it's you want to run Condition 1000 every 4 weeks.
You don't dictate things like that. You don't say it's our way or the highway.
Absolutely
like this is the
not.
Franchise model.
No.
Follow it to the T. Otherwise,
we've got the branding, we've got the support, we've got all those things in place. But if what's best for you and your studio and your community is X, Y, and Z, we'll back that 100%. So there's that opportunity to not just cookie cut and put something in, it's to actually make it your own. Like if I was buying a house, I would prefer to buy something which had the ability to do some work on, not something that was brand new that somebody already designed, because I can come in, it's got good bones, but I can actually still plug and play a few things and make it feel like my own. That's just sort of my preference, how I look at it.
Sounds like you get the best of both worlds. It sounds like you get the structure, the proven model, the proven system, the head office support, but at the same time, you're not going to stymie creativity or their visionary.
100%. There's some examples where some have wanted to, dive deeper into the high rocks and, put in a sled track, because we don't usually have sled tracks in a lot of the sites, and put in some wall balls and things like that. That's all been welcomed with open arms. So,
when we set out to build a brand, I think we really tried to have no rules for the sake of being rules, because often having a stock standard cookie cutter system sounds great for scaling a business, but it's what actually kills that community and culture in it that a studio fitness business needs to have to be successful.
It's really interesting. I've spoken to a lot of franchisors. They've been on this show, and a lot of the time there's not that level of opportunity for that creativity or autonomy. So it's definitely something.
There's still guardrails you need to have too, because there's things that are off-brand and on-brand, but making those decisions in a really smart way. And, if one of us or someone in our team's going, no, and we're butting heads with someone, it's really stepping back and being like, well, what are we actually fighting for here, and why is that rule there? Should it be flexed on? And trialing lots of things to see if they work. Because the best ideas for how our business is going to evolve over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years is coming from the people that are actually in the gym operating them, not from someone sitting in a boardroom designing workouts. It's got to be delivered by the client and has to actually work. So
we have a programming committee every phase as well, where we bring in franchisees or bring in managers, and we sit around a table or on a Zoom, depending where it is, and talk about that kind of stuff as well. So it's just another part of it.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're welcoming feedback, ideas from the entire community. It's not a top-down approach.
I think that's just what's going to keep us in good stead for long term. Yeah.
Can't ever always keep everyone happy though.
You can't. Someone's got to make some decisions. Yeah. Now, one of the things you mentioned earlier was the Condition 1000. And it caught my eye when I was on your website doing some research to this episode. What is it and who came up with it? And tell us all about it.
Yeah, it's
definitely a workout I designed, so I could win.
So it's your brainchild, is it?
Well, I've created a second version called Condition 1000, but weights version. But
we very hands-on. So we operators at heart, we love doing things, and that's like our whole niche. Obviously designing a model that others can leverage off, but getting in there and delivering the sales and marketing, cutting the rubber, building the gym, handing out the flyers, all those things we still love to do. Can't do them as much as we once did. But that's how Condition 1000 was sort of built. Dan, James, and my brother, who sort of is our general manager across the group, building our first site, cutting rubber, lugging stuff up the stairs, and
just absolutely cooked.
Yeah, we sort of decided, we've got to have some sort of initiation. Obviously your back's on fire, your knees are hurting, and we sort of thought, all right, let's design this absolutely cooked session that we could all do. And we sort of made this 1000 rep session that we've done ever since the first site as initiation for that studio being welcome to the community. So did that on the first day, and the time that day wasn't that fast because we're all a bit sore and tired. But we since then have sort of evolved that into something that we've run a number of times across the studios for events. So it's run at every studio as a launch event, but also as a way to unite the community together. So, or as a competition, we ran it with heats and finals a couple of times. So yeah, and accessible.
Running it again in this phase as well. We're running it in week 4 on the Saturday. We're doing the Condition 1000, the cardio version, and then on the following week 5, we're going to do the weights version. So similar concept. Just
come in, get your time, record results, have a target, improve your time from last time, that sort of stuff.
And do you do inter-club competitions?
That's coming very shortly. So we're in the midst of launching our own app as well, and that's going to make life a lot easier for running those sort of intra-studio challenges. So there's a million things going on with that. That's just really cool. But that's one of the things we'll be able to do on it. Yeah.
Very cool. I want to switch gears and talk about marketing a little now. You talked about Open Week. It's obviously something that is successful for the brand and a lot of your location owners. I was looking at your website and a lot of the studios look like it had 3 free classes as your intro offer. How did you land at that? When you have an intro offer like that, are you worried that you're going to attract the tire kickers, the freeloaders, the wrong type of people into the community? And then what are some of the pillars for marketing that you really lean on to grow the brand?
Yeah, we have a combination of paid and free trials depending on the site and which stage it's at and what community it's in, because things work better in different areas. So we do have 3 for free, paid $30 for 3 session trials, free weeks, paid weeks, and we do evolve and change those things all the time. I think the argument for a free trial is, it doesn't cost us anything more to have another person in our site if the class isn't full, and being able to have someone experience the site, whether they're just coming to kick tires and get the free class or not, they're still experiencing what you're doing. So it's still a chance for you to get that touch point with them, make an impact. And even if they're not got someone that's going to pay and join with you, hopefully they have a good experience and go and tell someone else about it. So the paid trial obviously pre-qualifies them more. It does reduce the admin load from, someone that registers on your database a lot more. If they pay something, more of them will come into the studio. And I think that kind of 3 session as a minimum is really important for us because we really want to show people the different workout styles we offer. And we sort of know over our experience over the years and with the data that we track that if someone can come in 3 times or more
there's a pretty good
on a
chance
trial, there's a very good chance they're going to convert to some sort of paid membership with you. If they're only coming in once over a 10-week free trial, they're never going to pay you, right? So, having an adaptable model again that works per site is probably a key pillar for us, not forcing a free trial where the studio is packed and it's going to take up spots. So like that sort of pillar. And I guess just the hardest thing is always communicating what you have on offer and grabbing people's attention. So content's really key. How you communicate that out to your database and like harnessing your community to refer for you are probably the pillars that we focus on.
I want to unpack that a little bit because there's a big focus on marketing in this podcast. So you said content's really big, very, very important. So each location will do their own content. There might be guidelines or support from a head HQ perspective. Is that right?
We deliver content to all the studios as well, but there's a lot of flexibility in what can be delivered on the studio pages on top of that. I think we really wanted to, it's sort of a recent development for us that we're providing more content to be delivered at the studio pages because
just make it easier.
Yeah. So some people are naturally a lot better at those things than others. So people that are great at it might not need to use any of it, but if it's sort of there and to be used, you can then, the stuff you add on top, there's sort of a minimum that's happening, which is really cool. So
and they can focus more on the organic stuff in the studio as well, right?
And our sort of theory on content is that like organic, natural things that you're not going and spending tens of 20,000s on agencies to film things and doing things that are real, that represent real people in your studios resonate a lot better with us. So
really get a proper peek behind the curtains.
You can just this time and someone that's good at it to spend time in there with an iPhone and a $100 mic, you can make some great things now. So
And you said you harness referrals. How do you do so? How do you generate a lot of referrals for each location?
Yeah, we'll try and have ways that you promote people to bring people. So Week 0 is a really good way to get a member to bring someone in, for example, because it's like, oh, cool, this is on at my site, you should come. And that's a way for we obviously try and then ask members to do that in those stages. Rewarding them for it too is important, but we've sort of found that it's more about them wanting their community of friends and work colleagues and family to come. And then the reward's a secondary thing, not the advertising.
It's not the
you
driver,
get $200
right?
$100 if you do it. It's more, can you, hey Dan, Could you help? Is there any mates in your workplace that'd be interested in Condition? 100% there are. Oh, cool. Can I send around a link for you? That works a lot better for us in a really natural way.
Yeah, even to the point where if a manager, or trainer can build a really good relationship with, some of the members, and then they turn around to them and say, hey, could you do us a favor? And could you, someone at the office or a group of people at the office you could bring in for a session, and that's going to be met with quite a positive response if you've already put the time and effort into building that relationship.
Yeah. Building, I think thinking
You've got
about.
to earn it first.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's something that probably is quite hard to scale though, right? So then building a structure around it so that it happens on a cyclical basis is probably key.
And then in terms of the actual sale itself, so a lot of people are going to start with an open week, so they're going to experience it first, or they might try 3 free classes. From a contract perspective, do you have options, flexi, commit? Is it a lock-in? Is it not a lock-in? What are some of the philosophies that you've built the memberships on?
We don't have lock-ins.
Zero contracts in terms of...
It's week to week. We have obviously packs. We have 2 and 3 session per week memberships because that might be suitable for someone who might work in the city, for example, 3 times a week, but then not at home. So, we got flexibility there, but we don't push lock-in contracts.
Yeah, you can join for a longer period of time to get a discount on the membership, commit for a 6-month membership, for example.
So there is reduced rates for a longer commitment.
We offer lots of different things at different studios, so there's no sort of stock standard rule. Front facing, we try and keep it really simple. It gets really confusing for a customer if there's a million options. We have people that train with us twice a week on a subscription now, and they are a marathon runner and they're doing strength with us twice a week. Obviously, we're trying to promote them to train with us more and sort of come in like that. But really having a simple pricing structure that is designed for the site and the area that's there, getting the price point right, membership names that are clear, and so you can jump on the app and buy it, or all the staff know what it is, right? So
do they have passport options where they can train from in the different locations?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyone on a full price membership can train in any site.
Yeah. It's a big plus, big advantage. I want to talk more about the industry itself now. You guys have been in it a long time. You've been in the ownership for a long time, both on the positive and the negative side. What are some of the, let's start with the positive. What are some of the positive trends that you're seeing in the industry that you really connect with, that you resonate with from more of just a macro level?
I think just the push towards strength, and
how good is it?
It's so good. And I feel like we've been banging on about it for years, but it's really starting to finally come to life. And
it's reaching the masses, isn't it?
It's awesome. And, and how important that is for longevity and, functionality as you age. And that's, I think that's my number one thing that I love to see. And it's so good at the moment. It's really getting out there.
Yeah, this shift between training to look good to now training to feel good and be healthy. So that's such a good.
It is. It's a wonderful shift. Yeah.
And strength training doesn't mean you have to do 1 rep maxes every single day and do 500 kilos. Strength training is so important for retaining your muscle and all the rest of it, right? So it's, huge.
And probably the link to like the science we both really like, that it's not just for the sake of it, you're doing things like we spoke about purpose, but like what's the reason you strength train, and trying to communicate that with people in a way that they sort of understand. The media talking about those things is awesome. There's obviously a big trend towards low impact too, and then this sort of running side of things that is going absolutely crazy, and competition, which we sort of dabble in and out of, but strength's exactly where we want to be.
And then on the flip side, is there any trends that you're seeing in the industry that you're concerned about, that you don't agree with?
Good question. Nothing that jumps to mind for me.
Yeah. I think obviously it's really great that the whole market size is growing. So there's lots of concepts and there's lots of growth in this space. It's like this low impact training, like the Pilates space, the infrared movement spaces. And there's obviously different segments of clients that you're trying to attract. I think it's really important that those concepts incorporate this progressive overload strength principles that work too, like the science base. So it's not really something that's a negative. It's just that, making sure that you're not just going in your routine and giving up all this time to train that, and it's not working for you. So sort of tracking it in some way, whether that's the way you feel or the way you look or your strength mixtures, but sort of leaning into that a bit more. There's some people maybe not doing that as well as they could. It's probably the only real negative thing. So
how do you see technology shaping what you guys do as a brand over the next, 3 to 5 years?
We're leaning into it, and like we mentioned just briefly before, the app that we're launching. So that's only
a consumer app.
Yeah, it's only a couple of weeks away from launching, and that'll be to in studio. So that's all about making the studio experience better. So it's tracking and recording your 3RMs, having a condition score in there that you track and improve over time, having a daily leaderboard to make it, the engine side of the room, the conditioning side of the room competitive, and you can see, compete against someone who's in Ingleburn versus Manly. And so for those who are competitive, that little part, so I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, just being able to track. And, for example, if my 3RM's recorded in there and we have bench day today, it'll tell me we're doing 6 reps today, RPE is 7, which means you need to be doing 70 kilos. So it'll actually prescribe your weight.
Calculate it
for you, right? So then, even today again, I went in and trained and first set, I'm like, what should I do here for 6 reps? About this. And I'll do the first set. I'm like, should have done more than that. I did it.
Yeah. Just go straight at 250 kilos.
Should have done more than that.
I've been training for 20 years and I still don't exactly know what to put on for that first set. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a game changer on that front. Like there's other
that word you said before though, it's purposeful, right?
Yeah.
Like it just creates more purpose.
And there's white label versions of that, but this is going to be very specific to our in-studio experience that we've built from scratch with a few other features in there too, but they're the keys.
Yeah, I don't think technology will ever place what we're trying to create in the studio. But I think trying to use that to enhance and make things easier for the coaches, for the members, to help guide people on which sessions they should do and how often, and keep them accountable and track their progression over time. I think we're, from a business standpoint too, like technology and leaning into AI and tracking and performance data is really big thing that we've been focusing on to make things easier to operate, because it takes away all of the monotonous tasks that you need to do as a studio owner if you're utilizing it well. So building a system that's you can plug into so you don't have to scroll through whatever software you're using to forecast your revenue finish for the month. You already know when you log on every morning.
Using it to make your life a bit easier.
Yeah.
And that's probably where like business systems development is really important to us, obviously, as we try and scale to support the franchisees and partners and our studios that we open in, and really focusing in on that. The consumer app side of things is really trying to harness and improve what's happening in the studio, to allow more people to train that probably can't, to make less barriers for them to come in. A lot you'd find, you guys would probably agree, you go talk to a friend, I'm not training at the moment because I hurt my knee and I can't go to the class at my gym. Well, you probably can. You probably just, can't be doing a fully loaded back squat, but you should be doing your rehab in the meantime. So that's where we want to get to with the technology that we're building. So you can utilize it to allow people to come in and do their rehab between their bench press or whatever it might be.
Yeah, ideal scenario long term is that we can train on the same barbell, but Jordan might have a particular injury, or I might be training for a specific event, and it will actually prescribe you a slightly different workout.
What to do because of that. Yeah. So it's just creating that personalization within that group setting.
For sure.
It's completely tailored for you.
Because you can't remove how it's so much better to train in a group from my point of view and a lot of people's point of view. And otherwise, I'll go and sit down. If I went to a big box gym myself, and I'd be scrolling on my phone and I'd be taking phone calls, and in 30 minutes, I've probably done 3 sets, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Just be on the cable machine.
Go home or so I personally just, even if I need to change things up, I'd much rather do it in a group setting.
So you're getting the best of both worlds here. You're getting that group atmosphere, but you're getting, with the technology, it's enabling you to personalize at scale.
And get the most out of your session, right? So if we've designed an erg-based session with targets, and we're aiming to have people working at a 7 out of 10 intensity and they're flogging themselves, we're probably not setting the targets correctly for that person, right? So
you guys have gone through a series of evolutions within the industry. Like we were talking about before, I think we met almost 15 years ago when you were a coach.
Yeah.
Did you have hair back then?
I think I might have.
I don't remember.
And fluoro shoes, probably. That's what we all had, I think.
So you've been a coach, and then you've been a studio owner, and now you're a franchisor. And between the different roles, you need different skills. There's a different identity with each as well. So what skills have you had to develop as you have evolved throughout these roles?
I think I've always been quite a strong leader. I think that's transferred through really well, but probably the skill of being able to prioritize what's actually important for that day or that week. I think that's the one which human nature is you're going to do what's enjoyable or what's fun, right? Or what you can scratch off on your to-do list because it feels good, or you can delete the email because it's done. And I get done with it every day, but trying to rejig that and continue to work on that skill, I think for me is something which, I'm still very mindful of.
Yeah. So discernment, prioritization, because you'd have so many competing priorities.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so just being able to identify and prioritize the main ones.
100%. Because we're still working in both worlds, right? We run the gyms and we're running the network. So it's, being able to just figure that out and make sure you're on top of that.
What about you, Jordan?
I don't think I was ever a good trainer, so that's probably what Starter used to cover for me. And I used to just hide in the office. But I think
getting sales, but
getting sales. I always really did enjoy the sales side of the business and understanding people and why they made the decisions they made. And that's obviously what we're sort of doing now, and it's transferred through to trying to scale our business and attract staff and franchisees and grow. Probably getting a little bit uncomfortable as you develop the skills to be the one or the two that are actually making the final decisions that people abide by. That was probably a big thing that we've learned over the last 10 or 15 years. And, going through ever-changing world, everything that could have happened over the last 15 years has probably happened to everyone in the fitness industry, and really learning from those things. And we talk about it a lot if we're trying to solve a problem. Is there actually someone else that would probably know more than us about this, or are we the most educated person in the whole world or about this problem? If there's someone else, we should be calling them and asking you your advice, but, really trusting yourself to make the hard decisions and, do things and trust your instinct too is probably what we've really been working on recently. So, question
I love to ask every guest on this show is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given or received?
This go down this rabbit hole. No, this was a really recent thing. I was watching Welcome to Wrexham, and Ryan Reynolds said on that, this again, it was only sort of 4 weeks ago, I was watching this episode, and he said, if somebody does something amazing, tell them. And it just resonated with me so much. I'm like, I feel as though I do okay at that, but I could do so much better. And as a workforce, imagine if that was in front of everybody's mind, and every time somebody did something amazing, you were told, hey, that was awesome. Well done. What a culture that would create. So yes, that'd be amazing for the entire world if that was, happening. But even what we can control.
Simple, so profound and impactful.
It was recent front of mind, but that was something which I thought, that was cool.
Love that.
Yeah.
I expect lots of compliments from you.
They're coming.
Probably that if you want to succeed, be willing to do things that others won't and don't. So that's probably the thing I try and think that you've got to push and make yourself uncomfortable and have your ass on the line and be willing to live in that zone, or you can be mediocre, which I don't want to be and we don't want to be, right? So keep pushing and be willing to be in a spot that others aren't willing to be. So or do things that others aren't willing to do.
Great advice. Gents, I've really enjoyed today's episode and finding out a little bit more about you guys, Condition, what it stands for and what it's all about. I know that there's going to be a lot of people watching, listening that would love to know more about the brand itself. How can they do so?
The best way to get to know the brand is to come and train with us. So we're usually in Sydney City every Monday and Tuesday lunch, if anyone is welcome. But I'm sure you have our contact details. Go through our website, info@Condition, or email either of us at jordan@condition.com or dan@condition.com. We'd love to hear from anyone. But the best way to get to know what we're doing is to experience it yourself. Sure. So what time are we training?
Yeah. You got a Maroubra location. There we go. So no excuses for me.
Yeah, Condition 1000 will lock you in.
Settle down.
Weights version.
But we really it's great to connect with people in the industry. So if anyone ever has any questions or advice for us or wants to reach out, it's awesome to learn. So
fantastic. Well, I appreciate you guys giving up your time, sharing all the lessons. And I'm looking forward to seeing where you're going to take the brand. I think there are very exciting times ahead. And I just want to say a massive thank you for being so open and letting us find out a little bit more about you guys and Condition it.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. 2 Dans and 1 call.
Thank you guys for watching and listening to today's episode. Make sure you go and take advantage of their offer. Go and try out a session at Condition. We're going to put all the details in the show notes. And if you got value from today's episode, you know what to do. Give us a like, comment, or subscribe. Thank you so much.